Short to O'Hara.
Joining us on this episode, we've got former Spurs legend and Premier footballer Jamie O Hara. Pleasure to have you with us. Thanks for coming, mate.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Thanks for your time. Yeah, Chris.
I want to say legend.
Anyone that's thrown at that level, I'd definitely call a legend.
No need to be modest. So first of all, we'll start with Billericay here in the middle of pre-season.
Yeah.
How are things sort of shaping up for the new season?
It looks good, mate. We're looking strong. We've signed some good players. We've got some lads at the National League. We've got a real good group of players together. I'm excited. You know, it's going to be tough. Some teams have spent some good money still. You know, there's still a bit of money flying around. Maidstone, Ebbsfleet, Havant are all full time in our level. So I'm really excited what we've done with the new pitch and everything and the way the club's going. It's just now getting out on the pitch, getting them fit, and hopefully getting some results.
Do you wish you were sometimes still out on the pitch yourself?
No.
You still do sometimes though, don't you? I remember being here for an Essex Senior Cup game and you come on.
I know, yeah. But at the Essex Senior Cup I might have a run out, but I think since then, since I've been the gaffer, I think I've put on another 5 kilos. So, I mean, Conch played, he was assistant manager, and he played the other day, and he said, yeah, listen, Jane, keep me on, I'll play 90 minutes, no problem. And I was like, this lad's still, I think he's 38, 39, still got it, still got pace, still, he's the best player on the pitch, and it's like, you know, I look at him and think, come on, Jane, you can get out there. And I go out there, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not.
But the management side, do you enjoy it? Do you relish that kind of pressure?
I love it, yeah. I mean, it's a fantastic, you know, I was to go into it, you know, I'm young to get a job like this, a fantastic opportunity, and I've tried to take it with both hands. It's, you know, I'm really busy, I do the Talk Sport stuff and the Sky, which is great, but, you know, being in the dugout, being in the dressing room week in, week out, that's my passion and that's where I want to be. So, this is a real stepping stone for me in my career and to see where I can go with it, and it's something I take really serious.
Definitely something you can see yourself like long term sort of in charge of.
I hope so, mate. Yeah, I mean, listen, if I start the first game of the season, we lose 10 on the bounce, I'd start questioning myself. But no, I'm confident. You know, this is my life. You know, and you know, I love it. I put a good management team together. I put a good side together. You know, I've had a good year under my belt now of experience. Last season was crazy for me, going into the kind of the fire pit with what was going on, and now this season seems much more sort of in the right place. So I'm excited to see what we can do tactically. We'll be right, we'll be organised, and it's definitely something where you know, hopefully things will go well and I can kick on.
Yeah, and with our sort of podcast, we merge sort of sport with the mental health side of things.
Yes.
With your own history with mental health, when it comes to management, are you more aware and more caring as such of the players' well-being and not just what they do on the pitch? Absolutely,
mate. I mean, you know, I won't mention names, but last season we had that, and I see it straight away. So for me, it's fantastic being a manager and having the experience of going through stuff like that I can sense it with players and that, and you'll find a lot of players at this level struggle with mental health.
It's surprisingly common, isn't it? Actually,
yeah.
across the board, really.
It's really common, and yeah, it's common everywhere. Do you know what I mean? But at this level, you notice it more. Lads are working week in, week out, and then they're trying to play football. They're constantly having to, you know, build up and keep themselves going. Money, financial problems, and stuff like that. So it's been great that, you know, I've been through that, because I've noticed it with players, and I can go to them straight away and I can speak to them and try and put my arm around them. Very easy as managers to go, he's not doing it on the pitch, let's just dismiss him and get rid of him. But I'm very much like, well, why is he not doing it on the pitch? What's going on in his personal life? Is he all right? You know, if I'm in the group chat with the boys, and if I see someone being a bit quiet, I'll go, well, why is he being quiet? There's something going on, and I'll text him. And I had a meeting with the boys the other day, and it was one of my biggest things on getting a team together, team bonding, is you've got to know each other's lives. You've got to be mates. If you're not mates, you won't know if someone's struggling. You won't know why someone's not performing. You've got to go out there as a team, and you've got to know each other's lives and know what's going on.
Do you definitely think that team aspect is not just at this level, obviously being a Premier League footballer, do you think at all aspects in football, especially that team aspect and cohesion is the most important?
It is the biggest thing for me. I mean, you can do all the tactics you want, and you can have all the best players you want, but if you haven't got a team spirit, you've got no chance. You've got absolutely, and that's at any level. It's about creating a team environment. It's about, you know, creating that winning mentality. We had a good team last season, but we lost games because there was not enough people who wanted to all push in the right direction. And that was my biggest thing this season, was to get a group of lads together who all want to go in the right direction. And hopefully I think I've created that. So that for me, team bonding is massive. Tactical stuff, is great, and you can do it, and you can do it till your eyes go square. But if you haven't got that team bonding, you've got no chance.
Do you think football can do more as a whole? Obviously, the experiences that you had, could people have done more to help you, and has it changed since then?
It was terrible back in the day. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't great at all. It was a stigma around it, with mental health, and you're scared to say anything because it was seen as a weakness, and you never wanted to give the manager an excuse to drop you. I think it's changed a lot now. I think there's better people out there that can help you. I think it's a better environment, but I still think it's something that needs to stay addressed, and not sort of fall by the wayside and be like, oh yeah, we've dealt with that now and let's forget about it. It's something that needs to happen continuously, something that needs to be really sort of talked about a lot and pushed all the time. And anything that they can do, I think, to raise awareness of it and to keep on top of it is massive, because it's huge mental health. So many people, especially men, below 45, it's one of the biggest killers.
And was it at Wolves in particular? It was very hard for you.
Oh, I had a terrible time. Yeah, I mean, listen, I was injured. I made some mistakes, said some wrong things in the press, and it just went a bit really sort of sour for me there. And I really suffered mentally. I struggled for a lot. I was I was on antidepressants. I was going through a bad time and really went into my shell. Wasn't enjoying football. Wasn't enjoying my life. And I really, really struggled. And it was only when I started, when I hit rock bottom, really, and I actually ended up leaving Wolves. I didn't have a job, and I was sort of sitting around. I was on my own. I'd broken up with my ex-wife, and kind of just hit rock bottom. That I kind of thought, right, where you're either going to go one way, or you're either going to, end up doing something you shouldn't do, or you get help. And I decided to get help. Started speaking to someone. Started to see someone, and that's when kind of my life turned back around and changed again, and kind of got myself back going.
In your football career, do you think there were any specific people at the sort of more top level that were quite helpful, like with your struggles?
Harry Redknapp for me was massive. Harry Redknapp, I always say, almost, I go as far to say, kind of saved my life a little bit. When I'd left Wolves and I didn't have a job, or I was out of football for about 6 months, no one would give me an opportunity, because everyone had this stigma around me, which was rubbish, load of ball, but I had to accept it. He phoned me up and said, listen, come in. He was at QPR, he was the manager at QPR. He said, look, can't offer you anything. He said, but you're too good to be sat at home. Come and play football, come and get yourself fit, get yourself back in a football environment. You can come in every day, train with the first team, and keep yourself going until something comes up. And that was like the biggest relief and fresh air that I could have ever have got, because I went in, I was training with Premier League players again, first team football. He had his arm around me, and it was brilliant. And QPR were fantastic with me. I didn't even play for QPR. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't contracted to the club. But what happened was all of a sudden people started phoning Harry Redknapp and said, "Oh, is Jamie O Hara training with you?" And Harry was going, "Take him. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's fit." And I was really enjoying myself. Bobby Zamora and all that were telling Harry, "You should sign him." You've got to sign him. But I think he had some financial straits on him at that moment. He wanted to potentially do something, but I ended up going to Blackpool from there, because Lee Clark phoned Harry, and Harry said, "Don't give him a trial, sign him, take him now." And I ended up going to Blackpool and getting player of the season. So it was brilliant. And that for me was massive, getting back on my feet.
Of course. And you've played with some fantastic players. Who do you think? Not necessarily just in training, in games as well. Like, who do you think is probably the best you played with?
I always say Luka Modric for me. Yeah, I mean,
it's not a bad choice.
Yeah, I know, like Ballon d'Or winner. He was brilliant. I mean, at Tottenham, I was blessed to play with brilliant. We had Berbatov, and Robbie Keane was fantastic. But we had Gareth Bale was left back as well. So that team, we had some real stars. Yeah, some special talents there. But Modric, when he turned up, obviously being a midfielder myself, he was just brilliant to watch. He was so good on the ball. You could never. He always saw the pass before it came to him. He always his first touch. you know, is something, you know, for me, you've either got it or you haven't. You know, when it gets to that level, then certain touches that he would do, them little things you think, how is he even doing that? And when you tried to get the ball off him, he was only small, but he was short, but stocky. You couldn't get near him. You know, he was so good. And then, you know, he went to Real Madrid and got better.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, it was really hard to get any better than he was. And then when I watched him play for Real Madrid, I was like, he's gone up another level.
On the flip side, who do you think's the toughest opponent you've individually?
I would say Gerrard. Playing against Gerrard, yeah.
Another big name.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Gerrard for me was unplayable. I always remember whenever I tried to play against him, I always thought I've got to try and snap him early. Do you know what I mean? I've got this Gerrard. I've got to show him I'm here. And I remember playing him at White Hart Lane. We was playing Liverpool, and they had a fantastic Mascherano, Alonso, Torres. Like, their team was frightening. And I was playing in midfield, and I remember going up. First ball, 50-50, and I've gone right over the top of it and gone, bosh! I thought, yeah, have some of that, Gerrard, you know. And he looked at me and gone, all right. Next time I've tried to snap, I've gone in, I've gone, right, I've got to do him. He's nutmegged me, played zing 170 yards, that was it for 45 minutes. Could not get near him, got dragged at half time. He was just on, he had everything. He had pace, power, tackle, he could shoot, he could run, you know, he could fight, he had everything. You couldn't get near him.
Yeah. But I guess as a manager, mental health must be quite hard as well. Who do you go to? Because you've got the managers to look after the players, but then who looks after
I have a guy, I mean, I've got a guy here that I use who does all that stuff. So he's a good friend of mine, Rob Heisey, his name is, he does all the mind therapy stuff. I've actually brought him into Billericay, and a few of the boys, even from last season, still see him. And I think he's massive for me. So I did all this stuff where I was kind of really negative about myself, and I had to get that off my chest and why I was being and why things weren't going. But now things are going great for me. I like to focus on the positive stuff. So like visualizations now I do, and the positive goals where I want to see myself, where I want to see the team, where I want the players. You know, and I'm big on that now. So I always think if you're thinking positive all the time and you're setting targets and setting goals, your mind will reach them, and your mind will set them, you know, your bar really high. And listen, if you fall short of it a little bit, then, you know, fair enough.
Phenomenal mindset to have, though.
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, if you think negative, if I think I'm going to go out there on a Saturday and think we're going to get beat, we'll get beat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you give off that persona, body language and all that, and that's, I work with Rob, who's brilliant for that, with the body language and the positive mindsets. And yeah, he's great. And I'm getting him into Billericay and trying to get him in a bit more with the players, you know, to have that mindset of, you know, we're going to win.
Yeah, you must really enjoy your media career. That's really sort of taken off as well. Really hearing you on TV. You do your own show now as well.
Yeah,
presenter. Yeah.
I do a show now on Friday. They've given me that for this season, so I've got that tomorrow. I'm really excited about. It's great. It's gone really well for me. You know, I give an honest opinion. I've known football. You know, listen, I'm not Alan Brazil. I'm not Alan McCoist. Do you know what I mean? Like they're legends of the game. You know, like they've had fantastic careers. I've had a good career. I've played in the Premier League. But I know the game, and I like to have a laugh, and I like to give my opinion, and you know, I might wind a few people up. It's only radio, you know.
Part and parcel of it, though.
Yeah, it's part and parcel. You want to have a laugh, and I always say to footballers who come on, and I get a lot of footballers text me now saying you're doing great in your media and all that. I want to get into it, and I just said to them, just be honest. You know, don't give a politically correct answer all the time, because that's boring.
Yeah.
It can't be boring. You know, at footballers it's so easy, we've done well, we'll go again on Tuesday, and it was good, we've done all the right things, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You've done that for 10 years, mate. You're coming to the end of your career now, say what you think.
Some of the best pundits are like, I mean, Roy Keane's not everyone's cup of tea. He's very honest.
Oh, he's gold dust.
Very honest.
I mean, he's brilliant. He's brutal, but it's Roy Keane.
It's good entertainment.
Do you know what I mean? He's Roy Keane.
Yeah.
He can say it. He's done it, he's been there, and he's won everything. So if he wants to say something about Manchester United, he has every given right to do that.
Yeah, and I've seen a few of your comments. You've been trending on Twitter and things like that. Is that sometimes quite hard? How do you deal with because social media is not the nicest of places?
It's so Twitter. I find so negative.
Yeah,
you know, it's and I've tried to take myself off it. I'm actually having a break from Twitter in a minute, just because of my positive mindset of where I want to go and where I want to be. And then you get people on Twitter who are constantly negative, and that is just a platform for people to say stuff who you don't know and give you negative feedback about yourself that only that person might think, you know, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I don't know you, and you don't know me. You don't know anything about my life, so why am I letting you affect my day? And that, for me, is where social media is a big problem. There's a big problem.
Do you think they need to do more, these companies like Instagram and Twitter, etc., to maybe verify people and stuff?
Verify people is, for me, is massive. You know what I mean? How many, the amount of trolls I see on there, and you click on them and they haven't even got a picture or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? But they've done their job because you've clicked on it. Do you know what I mean? So you've seen it. So they've got to you, you know, and it might be that one person that sticks out where I'm quite thick-skinned. I've learned to be thick-skinned, and I've learned to just bat it aside, but it can get quite draining. It does get draining sometimes, especially when you're putting stuff up all the time on TalkSport. You know, you're having an opinion, you're getting constant sort of people having something to say, and you're like, look, I'm just giving my opinion. If you don't agree with that, that's no problem, but don't call me a so-and-so. You know? You wouldn't go into my work. I wouldn't go into a workplace and say you're this and you're that. It's your job.
Yeah. And what are your hopes long term then, both sort of football-wise and...
be Southend manager one day. No, I mean, listen, the dream is to manage in the Football League, wherever that is, or whatever level that is. That will be where I'd, you know, obviously hope to be one day. I'll push for that, and I'll keep fighting for it, and one day I believe that will happen. However long it takes, I'm not in any rush. Do you know what I mean? But I'm learning every day. Every day I come in here and I learn, you know. So for me, it's a fantastic opportunity, this, and I'll keep my head down and keep grafting and see where it takes me.
Well, fingers crossed, and good luck to you for that.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, man.
See you back.